I can't hear the music.
Welcome to the Lock Shop with Nielsen and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
What is up, Lock Shoppers? One more day with Big Dusty on the road. He'll be back tomorrow. Us with you, along with my guy, Matty Iwanyk. And we had a close call last night on the partner parlay. We'll get to all of it. But tough one here in the peg for the Jets. 1-1 heading back to Denver. And I'm sure there's a bit of a buzz in the air in Edmonton, getting ready for game 2, especially after such an amazing start to the playoffs and postseason for the Oil.
Yeah, I guess for Edmonton to start, yeah, it's different. Like, I'm going with the mindset, and I was talking with Sean Bell, former NHLer and stuff. We're looking at this and going, I think it's just everything's opened up for the Oilers to get to the conference finals. Like, there is no better path in hockey for the conference finals, and if they're not in the conference finals, there's a big issue with this team because you see what the Canucks did yesterday. I know you quickly jumped on Nashville when we got the news breaking yesterday about Demko, so that works out. Things are looking good for Nashville, I think, in that series. But so the Oilers get either Nashville or Demko-less Canucks team. They got the Kings after game 1. I don't think a lot of people are too concerned about the Kings anymore. So there's a feeling of excitement and just look at this path that is opened up here. Overall, how's Winnipeg doing 1-1 going to Colorado, though?
Well, I mean, you know how it is. I mean, the ups and downs of a 7-game playoff series are big time. I mean, as crazy as the game was on Sunday, the fact that the Jets won in the fashion that they did had everybody, walking around a few inches taller on Monday. I mean, pretty much the opposite after the game last night. I mean, that was a game that I thought the Jets had just a phenomenal first 10 minutes of the game. They get a fourth-line goal from David Gustafsson. And, in game 1, the Avalanche were up 11-1 in shots through 6 minutes. Through 10 or 11 minutes yesterday, the Avs only had 2. And it seemed to be way more of a Winnipeg Jets style game, which is what Rick Bowness wanted. But the Avalanche are a beast that you cannot just completely shut down for 60 minutes. And they put forth a press in the first period that, the Jets handled, but all of a sudden, by the end of the period, they had 15 shots. I mean, Helly was busy. And then it all just fell apart, really, over the course of 20 minutes. I mean, giving up, I'm not sure whether they'd given up 4 goals in a period the entire year. But the bottom line was the 2 late goals. Hellebuck, in the past, it was a long-running joke about Jet fans about Hellebuck playing the puck. Brilliant in every aspect of the game, except, and there was somebody early on in Winnipeg Sports Talk history when the YouTube chat got going, they were a commenter called Helly's Shock Collar, and we joked that the coaching staff had a shock collar, and the minute he tried to go out the net, they would press the button, and it would zap him back into the net. What's ironic about this is that he's worked so hard on it, and he's actually become very proficient at it. Unfortunately, the lack of just full 100% confidence, maybe the moment as well, caused a little bit of a miscommunication between Hellebuck, his defenseman. The Avs got a bit of a cheapie. And then for Josh Manson to come out of the penalty box with 6 seconds left in the period and pop one in just in the dying minutes to change a 3-2 game into a 4-2 game was a real dagger. The Jets need to generate more offensively. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think they took steps defensively. But if you're going to beat a team like Colorado, you're going to take a few yourself. And, let me ask you this, because you see Edmonton, the Oilers, and we know the world-class players they have on that team. During the third period, Jared Bednar switched the lines up a little bit and really stacked up the guys that were out there. Is there a better 5-man unit in the NHL than McKinnon, Rantanen, Nichushkin, Cale Makar, and Devin Taves. Like, there's other players that I think you could put above a number of those. But
yeah, the Oilers don't have the defensive prowess to match that. They've got the offensive guys to build something. Even if you go 4 forwards, 1D, you've got something great build that you could build there. But Bouchard, Ekholm's really good, but he's not Makar.
That's the thing. Like, Makar's one of the top 3 defensemen in the entire National Hockey League.
And then you still got Devin Taves and all that.
Yeah.
That might be the best 5-man unit you could think of and come up with if you're any team in the NHL. Because, like, the Oilers, again, like I say, it would have to be 4-1. Like, power play-wise, yeah, the Oilers have an unreal power play with that when Bouchard's the guy there. But if you're going 5v5, yeah, I don't think you could come up with better. I was
thinking about it yesterday. Like, if the league was reduced to essentially a video game where there was no line changes and you just put out your top 5, Avs would be pretty tough to beat. Anyways, I mean, listen, it was disappointing, but this is going to be it should be a great series. I think the Jets will actually benefit from getting out on the road, as wild as it was here in the Peg for those last couple games. And they've done really well. They've won 2 in Colorado so far this season. So we'll hold out hope that they can at least get a split and come back for what'll be a best of 3 with 2 games here in the Peg.
Jeffy quickly. Jeffy just in our inbox. He goes, Bouchard, Ekholm have some of the best on ice metrics in the league, and that's fine. That's great. But if you had a choice right now, Matthias Ekholm and Evan Bouchard, or Devin Taves and Cale Makar, who are you taking? I don't care about metrics. I know who most people are taking in that one. So I know we're in Edmonton for like me, and then for some of us we're in Edmonton, and Bouchard and Ekholm have been like an unbelievable pairing. And if the Oilers go do any damage in this playoffs, really, that's going to be a big pairing for that. But I'm still taking Makar and Taves.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why I bring this up with you in Edmonton is because I think the Oilers are the only one of the very few teams that you could even have an argument that they're in there in the mix, and certainly on the forwards. I mean, there's not a lot of teams in the National Hockey League that could even just put a 1-2 punch of McKinnon and Rantanen. The Oilers can. But my God, Cale Makar is a special player.
He's one of my favorites. Like, just overall, love the guy. Just he plays the game in such a great way. I remember the conference finals, Oilers Avs, a couple of years ago, and there's some people like, Cale Makar, he can't defend McDavid or anything like that. And that series just showed what he can do. Like, he's just that elite at such a young age still, too. And that's where, like, I jump towards Canada teams. Like, we're talking about NHL teams, but think about what Canada could put together for a 5-man unit with Makar out there, with McKinnon and McDavid, just like those 3 right there, and then you're building around those 3. Give that to me. And hockey is screwed up the last number of years that we haven't had that yet. And now, luckily, we're going to start seeing that. But yeah, give me Makar with McKinnon and McDavid, and then build around that, and let's see what we can do.
Hey, speaking of best on best, well, it's not best on best because the playoffs are going on. But have you heard if Crosby is in for the World Championships?
The last thing I saw was he was contemplating it.
Like, I would love, it would be so cool if Crosby and Connor Bedard played together. And listen, if the Jets could help out the nation and eliminate the Avalanche, can you imagine having Crosby, McKinnon, and Bedard playing together at the Worlds? That would be.
I don't think Makar and cool. McKinnon would go.
Yeah, well, McKinnon might go to play with Sid.
That's a good point.
Like, let me put it this way: is he desperate for a World Championship gold medal? No. But I could see that and I mean, listen, if they were bounced in the first round, he would still feel like he's got a lot of hockey left to play.
The flip side to that is, like, if he wants to play with Crosby and stuff, the fact that there are best on best coming up right away, we get the one instead of the All-Star game next year, and then with 26, we get the Olympics. If it wasn't for those, I would think then there's a better chance, because McKinnon might look at it, when would I ever get to play with Crosby? The fact that there's those two, if he gets bounced, he might be just so pissed off that he lost to the Jets that they might just say, okay, let's start our summer. On to next year. Let's find a goalie for this team.
As I say, I think if those guys, any chance they can get to play with each other. And to be honest, I think Hockey Canada might be, I mean, for those guys, they'll be on if they want to be on, obviously. But I think for maybe some of the middle class of the NHL, for anybody that thinks they might have an opportunity to play next year or in the Olympics, it would bode well for them to pop in and donate their time and try and win a gold medal for Canada. As I say, we can talk about that more. We'll get some odds on that when we get closer to the event. I was mentioning to Zach just off air before we fired up that the near miss of last night's partner parlay in overtime was a heartbreaker. I did not even know. That's how locked in I was on the Jet game, being there. I was there with my dad. I had an unbelievable time. But
great photo in front of that statue.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, the Howardchuk statue is so beautiful. It is. It really makes the area in and around the arena. But I thought that Florida was kind of running away with that one. It was 2-0. They were way ahead in shots after the first period, and for whatever reason, I didn't see any updates. I wasn't really on my phone, but I was just kind of more worried about the Nashville game. And again, thank you again for that breaking news, because what did we say? With plus 133 for the Preds at that time. And granted, we were already going to jump on it.
Yep.
We talked about had it in the parlay, but it almost immediately went down to plus 111. And I think closed just.
It's like 105 or something.
Yeah. So that was nice. And that sort of was able to take the sting out of the loss. But I mean, you called it Tampa Bay. That team is not going anywhere without a fight. And they managed to bring it back. And Carter Verhaeghe, I'm sure you guys have talked about this already. Historic production in overtime. 5 OT winners in only 14 overtime games in his career. Next on the list is Rocket Richard, who had that in like 28 or 29.
That's nice company.
The guy's turned out to be a very, very clutch player, but that is a heartbreaker. I mean, to lose in that fashion, to come back on the road and lose an OT. Tough one for Tampa.
It was one of those, like, when we got the Rangers, we got the Preds. It was 2-0 Florida. As soon as I saw that one, I was like, crap, I'm letting down us. I make the one pick here, and it's already 2-0 Florida. And then they make the comeback 2-2. And then both, between Bobrovsky and Vasilevsky, they were absolutely we had a goaltending clinic on display in Sunrise last night between both those. You have what's going to be the save of the season, probably, maybe, if we look back at the regular season. It's easily going to be the save of the playoffs with Bobrovsky and that glove and stopping. That would have put, I think, the Lightning up 3-2 at that time. Not long later, Vasilevsky went the other way. He made some unreal saves. Both those goalies kept that as a very tight game and got it to overtime. But as it goes to overtime, like, really? Like, this is what's going to knock off this plus 700? A goal in overtime? Like, we almost had. We even called it a little bit the underdog parlay, and it's as close as you can get. But it'll be interesting to see how the Lightning respond going back to Tampa down 2-0, though, because of how close these first two games were. Capitals put up a nice fight, though, last night. Wasn't expecting as close of a game between those two teams, so they had a little bit of push, but Ovi's still trying to find some sort of offensive production. Parlay hurt. That one hurt. Not gonna lie.
It did. But again, thank you for the being on top of the Demko news. What do you make of Vancouver's situation now? I mean, after that loss.
Not
By
good.
the way, what a low event game. We got into the bar beside the arena after the Jet game, and with 8 minutes left in the third period, the shots in the game were 16 Vancouver, 12 Nashville. Mm-hmm. That was the first period in Winnipeg, Colorado. It seemed to be
that's almost his goals were scored in game one of Winnipeg, Colorado. We had Joaquin Gage on, two guys yesterday after the lock shop, and Farhan Lalji had the report that it's the same knee that Demko has an injury, but not the same injury. So it might be something else in the same knee. And right away, Gage was like, that's bad. Like that he's not coming back for months. Like, so he won't be there. I think we see what the Canucks team is without Demko, which is a shame for Canucks fans because they had such an amazing season. They went out and they almost like pillar to post in top of the Pacific Division. They held on through 82 games. Fascinating. What is going to be very fast to see. Could they do this throughout the entire playoffs? And to lose Demko is just crushing for that team. Casey DeSmith, he's a fine goalie. He's not going to go rattle off a bunch of wins, and they're not going to rally behind him and go on this magical Stanley Cup run now. So it's like Demko, he's top 5 maybe in terms of goalies right now in the National Hockey League. Imagine what the Jets would happen if Hellebuck gets hurt or, Shesterkin goes down with the Rangers. It's a big blow. And so for the Canucks, seeing last night what happened, I thought they were primed for an upset going into this first round anyways. Now I just feel really good that the Nashville Predators are probably going to knock off the Canucks and move on. Like, the Canucks are going to still win a couple games this series, I believe. I think we're looking still a 6-7 game series. But, like, I don't see the Canucks having it in them now that they have to focus a little more on the defensive game to now fully open it up and be able to get past the Preds' defense to then go up against UC Saros.
Oiler fans have got to be loving that. Not only there's a bit of a rivalry, but doesn't Draisaitl get like 5 points every time they play in Nashville?
The Oilers own the Nashville Predators. Leon Draisaitl is the mayor of Nashville. Like, it's weirdly enough, Nashville, when the Oilers were having their tough time, they came to here for an afternoon game and they ended up beating the Oilers. But the second or game of the season or third game of the season, Oilers go up to Nashville, absolutely roll that team. And we all thought that was what's going to turn around the thing. It didn't happen, but this team, they take on Nashville, and I wouldn't be afraid if I'm the Edmonton Oilers or UC Saros because of the history that this team has against the Preds for a number of years. This isn't just like 2 years. This has gone on for a while. So, again, the path is completely cleared for the Oilers to get to a conference finals. They now just have to go do it because if they don't, it's a pretty big failure on their part considering how everything's played out.
Well, let's get to this game tonight. 3 games this evening, and we can start with the Kings and Oilers. Edmonton, a slightly bigger favorite than they were in game 1, minus 181. The Kings, plus 152. I mean, this just seems to be, especially the way they got it done in game number 1, a lot of people expecting the Edmonton Oilers just to keep on rolling. I kind of do. Any concerns or nerves about this spot right now, game 2 for Edmonton on home ice?
I don't see any cause of concern. Like, to me, this series, it's a 4 or 5 game series, and if the Kings are winning, maybe more likely on the road. The only thing I think of tonight when I look at it is I feel like it's going to be a lot tighter. I feel like it is going to be a more defensive game. I don't know if the Oilers are going to be able to come out fully and get a massive 7-goal performance. Once again, I think the LA Kings are a better hockey team than we saw in game 1 from them, and they will play a little bit tighter. I'll be intrigued to see, I haven't seen anything yet, like who's the starter. I would expect Cam Talbot, they'll go back to him, but you never know if Dave Rittich goes in, just based on the fact that they did get 7 goals in the first game. The thing is, and why I have confidence also in the Oilers, is that, like, I've been asking guys around here, like, do the Kings move away from their 1-3-1 system? And everyone keeps them like, to what? What could the LA Kings really do? Like, if they move to a system that's a little more offensive and try to go up against the Edmonton Oilers, the Oilers are going to just take exactly. They're going to take full advantage of that. They're going to score more goals. We kind of saw it in game 1 where the Oilers are up 4-2 going into the third. Late second going into the third. Kings start opening up a little bit more. Oilers got 2. It's 6-2 hockey game. They'll just take it over. So I don't see anything in the Kings that I believe they're going to challenge the Oilers to get the win. But I also look at tonight's game and just think the Kings are going to come out a little bit tighter, a little bit better, and I wouldn't expect a high scoring game like we saw last game of 7-4. But there is absolutely, for me, no reason to believe that the LA Kings are going to find a way to knock off the Edmonton Oilers.
Let's check out these lines for tonight's Oilers-Kings game. So we mentioned the money lines, 181, minus 181 for the Oil, plus 152. If you like the puck line, Oilers by 2, like minus 1.5, plus 141.
That's nice value for this. If you're looking for an Oilers win,
I'll be honest, I'm surprised that they're not a bigger favorite. I was kind of thinking that way in the first, and I guess I know they had a bad record historically winning game 1s. But I'm not sure whether the bookies are giving the Kings more credit than, frankly, they deserve, or maybe underestimating Edmonton until they really get going. But, man, the way they looked in the first period, in the first game.
If the Oilers score 3 goals, are the Kings going to be able to win that hockey game? Can they score 4? Can the Kings go score 4 against the Edmonton Oilers?
I mean, I wouldn't rule it out, but can they hold the Oilers to 3?
Well, see, that's like, and see, that's where I put the bar for the Edmonton Oilers. They just kind of only need 3 goals, and it seems like they'll be able to probably win those hockey games. If you score 4, even better. So that's where
here are the team totals to put this into perspective. Speaking about scoring 3 goals, the Kings team total over 2.5 is -108. The Oilers team total over 2.5 is -216. It's literally half the odds.
Well, even the under. The under for the Kings at 2.5 is -118, Oilers plus 165.
Yeah. I mean, everyone expects the Oilers to score and score plenty. Total points. I mean, McDavid to get 2 points, not 1, 2, is -130. He's just such a machine. Draisaitl plus 158. Zach Hyman, who has already cashed the series prop on goals, is plus 245 on over points.
He's plus 114 to score as well.
Connor McDavid over half a point, -662. Put it this way, Connor McDavid to not get a point is just about 4-1. I mean, there's nobody, maybe ever. I mean, obviously Gretzky and Lemieux back then. I'm not sure whether they had these sort of lines back then. Do you see such absolutely absurd numbers for just to score, to get on the score sheet? Power play goals over 1.5. That's a favorite of Dusty's. He'll often jump on. Over 1.5 power play goals in the game. Both teams plus 108. And then you can dive in. Did you guys do an ESC parlay for tonight?
I actually have to build one. I'm going to do that during the oil stream. So I'll throw this to you. I had one that hit last game. Do I kind of build it out based off that framework? Or do I try to do something different and just go with what works? That's kind of the debate I'm trying to figure out right now is, do I kind of just build around, okay, the McDavid 2 points, the Oilers win, and then try to figure out what I do with those other picks?
I can't, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean,
that's what Duck Dad said as well to me in the hangout. He texted that one to me going,
the Duck Dad knows what's happening. I mean, listen, it all starts with McDavid, who he's playing with, who's going to benefit from his brilliance tonight. Add a couple other guys in there, and hopefully cash one in. So that's obviously the main game for everyone in the Oiler range and most Canadians. Although we do have Bruins and Leafs going at it early.
I'm surprised by this line, actually. I can't.
Leafs -111, Bruins -106. So very close to a pick 'em. The Leafs, the slightest of favorites at home.
I'm surprised by that. Actually, truthfully, that the Bruins. I know the Leafs got that one win, but the Bruins just are a better hockey team, I think. And I thought that the Bruins would come in maybe a little bit higher on this one. It'd be worse odds, but I guess maybe that's that home ice that gives the Leafs that little bump. But no William Nylander once again. Austin Matthews, though, is going to play. I got the TSN alert saying that he's going to play today, so that's good news. He missed an optional skate. So it's worthy of news now because he missed an optional skate that he will officially play. We have to tell people when he doesn't have an optional skate. He missed an optional skate. So we got a TSN notification to say that he's in for Game 3.
I see all of our regs. Rod Z, what's up? Duck Dad, Spency. What do you guys like in this Edmonton Leafs Boston game tonight? It is basically a pick 'em. Are you on either side? If you're going to throw that game into a parlay, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? Let us know in the chat. I put it this way. I kind of think this line does make sense. I mean, you usually when the team, especially after the Leafs just got their win in Boston, and I didn't think they were terrible in Game 1 either. I mean, this is a team that, I mean, man, they know them very well. They played them. They had no success against them whatsoever in the regular season. But you get over that hump, you get that win. I think they're going to feel like they've got a lot of momentum coming back. And, we'll see whether the suits at whatever their rink is called now.
Scotiabank Arena.
Rogers?
Scotiabank Arena.
Oh, Scotiabank
I'm a big
Arena.
shill for the corporations that put their names on
Yes.
arenas. I love really promoting them.
So at Scotiabank Arena, will the suits actually show up and get into the game, or will it be like a Hockey Night in Canada game where they're dropping the puck on the second period and there's 20% of the seats filled because people are downstairs having Robin Leach champagne wishes and caviar dreams in the lounge underneath and enjoying it all. That's the one thing about the Leafs. They do have this insane fan base that'll travel, that'll see them around. Their actual home games, a library compared to most of the other Canadian rinks, at least coming at playoff time.
Well, over time, I think this is going to be a problem here in Edmonton as we move forward, just with ticket pricing and stuff, because it's starting to happen here. But what it is in Toronto, it's a social status thing. It's not about being the fan necessarily going there. It's about having just those tickets and bringing your client or whatever it is to look good or try to win them over for something like that. And it's always tough to go full up. But the fan that really is ready to come and be rowdy and raucous and bring the noise, they're priced out of Scotiabank Arena in Toronto. And that's starting to happen here in Edmonton, where they're starting to get priced out. And I could probably find a lot more people to fill at Rogers Place for the regular season, I will say. Playoffs is different, but for the regular season, where it would be loud for 41 games, a lot louder. But it's known as a library here too because of it's just almost impossible to pay for a bunch of tickets. And that's the thing with Toronto. I don't see that changing in these playoffs. Those people aren't giving up their tickets now.
What are you hearing for? Like, for people that want to go to the game tonight, like there's an interview. I'm glad you brought this up. And again, this isn't very lock shoppy, but it's an interesting conversation. I think touches most of the fans. In 2017-18 here in Winnipeg, the Jets went on that run to the conference finals. That run basically bankrupted the city of Winnipeg. I mean, people were, and I think there was a lasting effect on season tickets and things like that. The NHL sets the prices, I believe, for the conference finals and the finals.
Oh, is that how that works?
Yeah.
Because there are massive increases, I know, for the Oilers this year from what they were last year. I'm trying to see if I can find them.
But this is an article from MSN saying Kings fatigue, high prices dampen enthusiasm for Oilers playoff tickets. Mm-hmm. And that's not the way things should be in the first round of the playoffs. But these leagues in their epic quest for more HRR are squeezing everything out, and it's going to affect attendances. And at a certain point, you will have games that aren't sold out.
Yeah, and game one was sold out officially. I think there was only like 80 tickets left by the time puck drop was about to happen. So, and the Oilers said that was Kings tickets that they had that they weren't used that got released or something. So they got bought up, and in the end, it was a full sellout. But I was talking about with Tommy in the Oil Stream a couple days ago, and because this question came up to us, and there'll be a point where there'll be a reckoning in Edmonton where they've spent. The Oilers have raised their prices way too high, and now there's just no more money from people to fully buy it, and we might have a playoff game where there isn't. Maybe it's not a playoff game that there isn't the full sellouts, but we're going to get back to seeing more regular season games without sellouts because people are saving their money to pay for playoffs. That they'll just go to one game the year, but it's going to be playoffs. They'll save their couple of grand to put towards the tickets for that one playoff game because that's all they want to go.
A couple grand to go to one playoff game. And that's save up all year to make that happen. Well, I hope things change because listen, there's nothing like these Canadian barns in the playoffs. We had an unbelievable crowd again last night here in Winnipeg, but I'm just a realist, and there are a lot of people that would kill to go to these games. Yep. But when you're forking out 300 plus per, it's pretty darn tough to expect them to show up again 2 nights later and do the exact same thing. Just wrapping up the hockey, and then I know you got to bang out this keyword. Bruins minus 106, Leafs minus 111. And then, of course, we've got the Vegas Golden Knights and the Dallas Stars tonight. This is the game that Dallas has to have. And the line reflects that. They're a significantly bigger favorite than they were last game. Minus 157. Vegas plus 133. I'll be honest, I think there's good value on Vegas. I'm pulling though for a series, and also pulling for the Dallas Stars. So I might be kind of light on the wagers this evening when it comes to the hockey, but Dallas at minus 157 has to happen.
Who would you rather see for the Jets? Stars or Golden Knights?
Well, I mean, the Jets had some tough, they were really good against the top teams in the NHL this year. They were 0-3 against Dallas until they beat them 3-0 on that final road trip. There's something about Vegas. And now that Vegas is loaded up with all of their guys back and adding Hurdle, they scare the hell out of me. I mean, listen, you're going to have to you'll be lucky. You're fortunate to be in the second round if you can get there and you'll play whoever it is. And I will say this, if you were able to beat the Vegas Golden Knights, for people in Winnipeg, that would be the sweetest victory, considering how they ended the Jets season in 2018, did it again last year. But I think I'd actually rather see Dallas, especially considering if Vegas is there, that means they just beat the Dallas Stars in the first round.
And they're back.
And
they're back to being the Vegas Golden Knights.
Exactly. If you're taking listen, if you're looking for an underdog tonight, though, I think Boston is the play. If you like Vegas, there's probably value on them at plus 133. I do think Dallas has kind of come back. I'm kind of leaning Dallas, Edmonton, and the Boston-Toronto game is really tough.
I don't see the Bruins losing 2 in a row to the Leafs. I think they're too good for. That's not bad.
Yeah, plus 394 in Coolbet for Dallas, Edmonton, and the Boston Bruins. I guess this promo is just about winding up. You got a keyword for the lock shoppers?
The EST flyaway. I do have a keyword. I think it's on the screen now. Yes, push is the keyword. EST flyaway. We want to send you to Las Vegas after today. Tomorrow's last day of qualifying. We're going to give this away on Friday on the morning show. Dusty, Lieutenant Eric, 780-218-9999. Text push, P-U-S-H, 780-218-9999. 2 nonstop flights, 3 nights at accommodations, 2 tickets to Cirque. Thanks to our partners, the LVCVA in Vegas, as well as FlyYEG, over 50 nonstop flights to sports destinations. Check them out, flyyeg.com for more information. Push is where you want to text, 780-218-9999. If you are the winner, you'll have 2 months to book, but a year to travel. So you could pick the right time you want to go to Las Vegas. We're not locking you in that you have to be available these certain days to head to Vegas. You'll be able to plan for when you want to go to Vegas. And like I said, we're giving this away on a Friday, so only a few more chances to qualify for the EST flyaway. Push to 780-218-9999.
Normally Wednesdays when we do a big golf show.
Let's do it.
This is it's funny that the top turning that's out right now is the Live Golf Adelaide, and this is the one legitimate Live event. Aussie comes out big time. They've got a lot of Aussie stars on it.
It's their try to make it their waste management.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Live, I think, is trying to make everything like the waste management. I mean, they would love people to come out, enjoy themselves, and have fun. This is the one place where that actually happens. John Rahm's your favorite at plus 650. DeChambeau and Neiman 10-1. Cam Smith 11-1. He's interesting because he's the hometown guy. He would love to win this event. He might be a sentimental sort of pick. Hatton Gooch. Hatton at 12. Gooch at 14. Usti 20-1. Answer, Burmeister, and DJ 22. There's some other. We've got some group bets as well for you.
This is all. This tells me all I need to know about Liv. That Oosthuizen is one of the top 2, 4, 6, 7 picks for a golf tournament. I'm sorry.
Usti.
At this point in his career, he's the 7th best pick that you can have for your golf tournament.
Hey, he's actually playing not bad. I hear, not that we've paid any attention to the Live Tour at all, but
I have a buddy who follows all of it. Like he loves watching the Live.
Well, you know what?
It's crazy.
I will be honest. There are some things that Liv has done that I actually love. I love the fact that they let them wear shorts. I think it's insane how stuffy the PGA Tour is and just golf in general. That's just a personal thing. And I don't even mind some of the things like, I mean, I can maybe get behind the shotgun start. There is an element of fairness having everybody on the course at the same time. I know Patrick Reed was a big thing. If you get the shitty tee time, you might be getting terrible weather when other guys are playing after a storm and it's all nice. So I think there's an element of fairness. And I think that in small doses, some of the entertainment and the things that they have around the course, is actually pretty cool. Having your players play like they're in an 18-hole rave is a little bit overdoing it. And I had some friends that were, I was just talking to them last night at the game that were at the Vegas Live, which was Super Bowl weekend.
Yeah.
They went out there and they said it was hilarious. Like, you could just go right up to the guys. There was basically no security, bit of a gong show, to be honest, of the people that were there. And the guy said, he goes, like, I'm thinking about guys like Brooks and DJ looking around going like, what the hell did I sign up for? Like, it's so far away from the tour as we know it.
Well, you saw the comments John Rahm made throughout, leading up to the Masters and a Masters week, wishing that it went to 72 holes and a bunch of that stuff. How much is that remorse? Like buyer's remorse, knowing that he's not like, there's a guy that was clearly promised some stuff about Live. One probably being the merger getting done for sure. And all of a sudden seeing these things aren't happening and walking on, the course in Mexico and stuff and seeing 10 people he's playing in front of and going, yeah, I've got my money and I'm set for life, but this isn't golf.
It's not driving him. Like, he's a pretty fierce competitor and whatnot. And, going up against the cast of characters they have every week, I'm not sure that that's really getting it going. So anyways, all the Live get. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't mind Bryson for this. Coming off his Masters.
Yeah.
Didn't have the greatest weekend, but he was in contention for a few days. I think this is the first Live event since the Masters.
It is.
Couldn't he carry that through for this event this weekend? Or Cam Smith as well. You talked about him being the favorite, the hometown favorite at the very least. He also had a really good Masters in the end. He crept up on that leaderboard through the weekend.
Yeah, and that's why I like Cam. I'm going to put a little sprinkle on Cam at 11-1. And then, of course, Jake and Pat are down at the Zurich Classic of New Orleans. And this is the tag team event where it's pairs. Xander Schauffele, Patrick Cantlay, defending champs. They're plus 425, a really low. But there's actually some big-time names in this. I can't remember Rory McIlroy playing in this event in the past. He's going with Shane Lowry. They're 8-1. Sahith Theegala and Will Zalatoris as well at 8-1. Colin Morikawa and Kurt Kitayama 12-1. And then a pretty big drop. There are some really neat Canadian teams. And Nick Taylor and Adam Hadwin are playing together. And if I recall correctly, they were right in the mix last year.
You're right.
They had a really strong tournament. And then our Coolbet guy, Taylor Pendrith, playing with Corey Connors. Taylor and Hadwin, 25-1. Connors and Pendrith, 30-1. But I think this is going to end up kind of like a regular tour event with Scotty Scheffler. The favorites are going to be tough to beat. Both have played really well. They haven't won, and these guys are damned if they do, damned if they don't. If they win, everyone's going to be making jokes about, Xander and Cantlay finally got into the winner's circle at the Zurich Classic. And if they don't win, people will give them brain damage about not winning it right now. So, listen, it's less of a high-profile event on tour, but as we all know, if you've got a horse in the race on Sunday, you will be into it, and you can get those over at Coolbet. Listen, Maddie, before I go,
yes,
we have to quickly touch on the odds for the NFL draft tomorrow night. And again, Dusty and I will get into these, but I wanted just to bring them up today because these lines are consistently so volatile based on a Schefter report here or something coming out. The number one overall pick is going to be Caleb Williams.
Yes.
That pretty much is done. He's like minus 10,000 favorite. So unless you have some sort of inside info that somehow Williams is not going to be the guy, you just move on to the number 2 overall pick. Jaden Daniels, minus 500 for the Washington Commanders. He's a heavy favorite. Drake May, the other top quarterback. Of course, we have heard J.J. McCarthy from the University of Michigan. McCarthy 9-1, Drake May plus 335 for the number 2 overall pick. It kind of gets more interesting at 3. And Drake May, the other quarterback, right now, minus 312. J.J. McCarthy plus 335. And then we get to the 4 pick. Assuming the 3 QBs go off the table, you still have Minnesota that traded up to get a second first rounder. There's a lot of steam that they want to move up to be able to select J.J. McCarthy. Kyler Murray's there in Arizona. They're committed to him. Marvin Harrison Jr., the clear favorite at minus 222. There has been talks that there could be a trade. The Giants are a key team. They're at 6. They could trade up to 4 to make sure that they get their QB, preventing the Vikings to trade into the Chargers slot. And if that's the case, J.J. McCarthy could go off the board at 4. That's plus 435 right now. What's interesting is that McCarthy's plus 425 for the number 5 overall pick. And I think we do really, certainly the discourse of everything I've consumed over the last 2 weeks or so is that there's enough teams, whether it be like the thought is that the Giants will have to trade up from 6 to get McCarthy because of the draft capital that the Minnesota Vikings have right now. So I was very surprised to see plus 425 on the number 5 overall pick, because that has been a spot that many have believed that the Vikings will trade into and the Chargers will move back, acquire more picks, because we all know that Jim Harbaugh has a long, long list after cutting so many veterans and really starting over with the Bolts.
Yeah, one, there's also the story that the Pats might trade out a number 3, which will be interesting to see how that impacts things if they end up doing that. Just seeing McCarthy for number 4 and number 5, as you've pointed out, 435, 425. Cards, they're not taking a quarterback. Chargers, probably not taking a quarterback. Probably pretty happy with Herbert still. Why wouldn't you?
The concept is that they'll trade.
Yeah, well, but that's my point. That's where, why wouldn't Vikings get into one of those 2 spots? Why wouldn't, and that's the team I'll be looking at in all this. Why wouldn't the Vikings be able to get 4 or 5? That number looks great to me when it comes to McCarthy. I don't. If I'm the Cardinals, I'm probably still taking Marvin Harrison. I'm probably still going with that top receiver to take to add to my offense. So then for the Chargers, boom, you make your deal with the Vikings, and you go get J.J. McCarthy. And so at plus 425, I believe the term is sprinkle. That's a nice little sprinkle action right there when I'm looking at the NFL draft for tomorrow.
Yeah. So again, just remember these numbers, lock shoppers. We'll look at it again tomorrow. McCarthy plus 435 at 4, plus 425 at 5. For the Vikings to trade in and take him there. There's all sorts of other props, number of offensive linemen drafted in the first round, quarterbacks, receivers. So if you're a big draft guy, I certainly am. It's always fun. I'm really happy we've got 2 days between these games, so I can kind of lock into that with a hockey game on in the background. We'll jump on that, and Dusty and I will get into all of it tomorrow when he is back.
J.J. McCarthy draft position over 5.5. is plus 125. So the flip side to all this is if there is no trade, would the Cardinals or the Chargers take J.J. McCarthy, or is he going number 6 to the Giants?
I would say the Giants.
So then for him going to the Giants, if I'm plus 5.5 or over 5.5 is plus 125. If you don't think a trade's going to happen, that might be where the value is for J.J. McCarthy.
Well, for sure. But I think, as I say, I think there's so many quarterback needy teams, and there has been so much steam on this guy as being a great pro style quarterback that won and did everything that he was asked at Michigan. I will go on the under. I will go on him to go in the top 5 right now. And I think we'll be touching on those numbers for 4, and probably more so the 5 spot, plus 425 for the 5th overall pick. It makes too much sense. We've talked about it for a long time. We'll see whether those numbers change tomorrow. Hey, by the way, I know Tommy's coming up on Oil Stream, getting ready for the game. He is actually going to join us on WST
Boom.
after that around 1:40 or so Edmonton time. So once you guys are done with the Oil Stream, come on over and hang out with us. We will also have Ken Weeb. We'll talk Jets, Avs, the rest of the playoffs, and make it happen. But Iwanyk, again, holding it all together while the big guy's away. This was a heck of a lot of fun. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for popping in. And as I say, we'll have to do it. We'll do it again. And so you're on the record, Boston tonight?
I'm going Boston. I already bet that last night. I put that down last night even.
I'm going to roll with that. Dallas, Edmonton, and Boston. It's plus 394. Normally we'd get that up in the partner parlay, but the boys are racing around New Orleans right now. So we'll just do it without a boost. Plus 394. I'm in on it. Good luck. And I'll let you call the qualifier, and good luck to all the lock shoppers for getting that keyword in.
Have a great show, Huss. It was great working with you the last 2 days.
Thanks, Matty.
There's Huss with Winnipeg Sports Talk coming up in 9 minutes out in Winnipeg. And as he said, Tom Gazzola will be on with him in about 9 minutes' time here on Edmonton Sports Talk on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, as well as those watching on YouTube. It will be the Oilers stream. Myself, Tom Gazzola, getting set for Game 2. Oilers, Kings. We will build we'll try to build an EST parlay. I will text it to the Coolbet boys to see if they could throw it up there, but as Hush just said, they're running around New Orleans, so maybe that won't be as possible, but maybe we'll try to just build something if we can through the Coolbet Builder at the very least, and then we could just bet that together, if you will. And then if the boys get it up and can boost it, awesome. If not, it is what it is for that game tonight. But right now it is time for the EST Flyaway Giveaway. I think Zach comes in the other room getting set to call someone. He says, yep. So keep your phone on. Keep it close. If it's ringing right away, answer it because there's a chance it's Zach to come. And if not, then you just picked up a spam call, and apologies for that. But that's the risk you take. A 50-50 chance maybe. I don't know what the official odds would be, but you get a chance of maybe qualifying for a trip to Vegas, or you got to talk to some sort of a scam that's going on. But that one, you just quickly hang up. Don't hang up on Zach to come. 2 nonstop flights, 3 nights accommodations, tickets to Cirque, all thanks to our partners, the LVCVA, as well as FlyYEG. And after the qualifier today, we've got one more today. It is during the oil stream, myself and Tom Gazzola. We will give that out to you around maybe 12:40. And then tomorrow's the very last day to qualify. Dustin Nielsen will return to the host chair. Him, Lieutenant Eric, they will have the keyword on the Nielsen show. I will have a keyword with Tommy on the Hangout. Lock Shop, Dusty and Huss will have a keyword. And then 2 guys and a goalie will have the final keyword for the entire EST of Flyaway giveaway. And then we'll give this bad boy away on Friday morning. Sometime I would say, don't quote me, but I'm thinking we'll be giving this away sometime between 7 and 8 a.m. So if you are one of the qualifiers, you do have to pick up to win the prize on the big grand prize draw on Friday. So 6 to 9 is the show. I think we're trying for 7 to 8 for the actual grand prize draw and calling our winner or calling our winners if we have to. Or, well, I guess it's still just a winner, but calling someone until they pick up and know that they are going to Las Vegas thanks to FlyYEG, LVCVA, and us here at Edmonton Sports Talk. Zach's just got them on the line, so we'll connect with them right away here when it comes to the keyword. And if you have any ideas for the EST parlay for tonight's game, you have any extra things that maybe we should be looking at to throw in, let me know. Text it, 780-218-9999, or jump in the nasty chat. Hydro saying Well and Wolf just cut into the lock shop on iHeart for a few seconds. Did anyone else hear that one? If that happened to anyone else, please let me know. Because I was hoping I had that sorted out, but if that happened, that might have been the first time today, and then I'll have to figure that out still later. Zach, who do we got on the line?
We got Curtis.
Curtis, congratulations. You are in the mix right down to the wire to get in. Congratulations. Ever been to Vegas before?
Thank you. Yeah, I have. I was there in November, just a week before F1 there. So
nice. And
good time.
If you win, who would you take with you, and when would you try to plan this trip around to get back to Las Vegas?
I would take my wife this time. Last time was the boys' trip. So
smart.
we'll go with the white this time. So we'll see what kind of events are coming up. Maybe an Oilers game or check out the Sphere or something like that.
I do recommend checking out the Sphere 100%. It doesn't, even if it's fish, go check out fish. I don't know, not a lot of people seem to be fish fans, but go check them out because it's a chance to go see the Sphere. Well, congratulations. Keep your phone on Friday morning because if you're the winner, boys will give you a call, let you know that you are off to Las Vegas.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
And to Duck Dad, are they going to do it live? I always imagined they did it off the air in the old days to ensure calls didn't go off the rail. Yeah, we did do it off the air at the old place. The thing with us now, at least the morning show and throughout the day, we're uninterrupted. So it's kind of hard to break and do it. So at this moment, for the first one, we're going to have to try it live on the air. Even that in itself will be something to tune into to see how that plays out. That will do it for the Lock Shop today. Coming up next, it is the Oil Stream. Myself, Tom Gazzola, will get you set for Oilers-Kings Game 2. Tommy was at morning skate today. Was an optional. We'll get the full latest from him. On behalf of Haas, I'm Matt. Thanks for tuning in to the Lock Shop. Talk to you in just a few minutes.